Alright, so here's what you want to look for. Well, here's what you make sure you don't want to see on your apple. When you have a 4 there, that means it's covered and coated in pesticides, and it's covered with a wax. So every time you eat an apple, you're eating a layer of wax and plastic that's around the apple. Only get your food that starts with a 9, not a 4. Alright, so here's what you want to look for. Well, here's what you make sure you don't want to see on your apple. When you have a 4 there, that means it's covered and coated in pesticides, and it's covered with a wax. So every time you eat an apple, you're eating a layer of wax and plastic that's around the apple. Only get your food that starts with a 9, not a 4.
Already, Shalom, Israel. I want to start by giving all glory and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, QADASH. And I brother, I'm on for down to Florida, from the camp from Babylon. Come with another quick hit to this man, part by MILLSTONE. Lord, to edify and feed the sheep. Double honor to the elders and apostles, great MILLSTONE, teaching well. Peace and blessing to the brothers for pushing this work, and true sincerity to the scattered abroad. All right, now you can see in the video, all right, where you got this guy who is, pretty much putting you on game about when it comes to these, apples or these produce, all right, that's being sold in these stores, man. Okay, you have it where there's certain numbers on these fruits, vegetables, all right, that indicates if it's organic, okay, if it has pesticides, or if it's GMO, non-GMO. And this is spirit because I came across this video, and it was Saturday, ATHAM, we're going into this, man. Okay, we're going into how these products of this that's being sold in these stores, all right, have these numbers to let you know, all right, what's good for you and what's not good for you. All right, what Esau pretty much tampering with, all right, which is a good thing to know when it comes to these things, because you got to know certain things that you eating, all right? Because if you eating something and you don't know what it really is, especially being here in Babylon, okay, in America, all right, a place full of confusion, you don't know what these things is, all right, you can cause your health to go sour, okay? You can cause your health to be out of the ordinary, okay? Next thing you know, you're having heart problems, chest problems, a whole accumulation of things, man, over time, okay? Which, we all know that these certain things that we gotta take a little bit more further look into, all right? But the point is that we're dealing with a bigger situation, all right, being here in this wicked kingdom, man. All right, and brothers are already on the game. All right, most of these things, all right, knowing what certain herbs, all right, certain medicines that we can take, all right, pertaining to the herbs. All right, but those who are new listeners, all right, this is something, all right, to take heed to, all right, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Okay, but I had one of the ATHAM post this chart, all right, going into these digit numbers, I should say. All right, with the produce and with these vegetables and fruits, man. All right, giving you a heads up. All right, and this is something just keep in mind. Okay, it says a 4-digit number on a fruit or vegetable sticker that starts with a 3 indicates it was conventionally grown. All right, and it's going to tell you. It says, meaning it was likely grown using pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. Okay, and this is a thing where Esau, these devils, man, or these Edomites, all right, they are in the lab, they creating things, they putting things together, these concoctions together, all right, to ultimately make things last longer, okay, or try to make things to be used, all right, to grow things, okay, and they'll use it when it's not natural. It'll be some lab made, man, or something that they put together. And this is the kind of wickedness that we're dealing with today, because all these things that we eat, it's been tampered with some way, somehow, these devils were able to take the DNA and take the molecules and atoms and all kinds of things and tamper it, okay, or tamper with it. You see, so knowing this, all right, is to be aware of your enemy. It says, reading on, these price look up, all right, which is a PLU codes are a common standardized way for grocery stores to identify products. And this was new to me when the Akim brought out, which is beautiful, man. Okay, because we're learning and we're growing from things every day. But this was new to me. But it says coding the PLU code. It says 4-digit code starting with 3 or 4. It says this signifies a contraventionally grown produce. Okay, Slack it, bear with me. All right. It says 5-digit code starting with 9. This indicates that the item was grown organically. It says 5-digit code starting with 8. This signifies the produce is genetically modified, which is GMO. Okay, and this is the things that you could be aware of when you go into a shop at a Walmart or a Sprouts, Whole Foods. Okay, when you're getting stuff like this, because sometimes you eat these things and you're like, man, why does it taste like that? Oh man, it don't taste like it did 10 years ago. Just like when you come across an orange and it's not nice and juicy and flavorful. Okay, it's all been sucked dry from its nutrients. Okay, and I'm gonna grab the scriptures going into this. Okay, because this is Esau, man. These devils get a hold of these things. Okay, they sample it, and then they go take it back to their lab, and here you go, voila. All right, genetically modified organisms, man. Okay, which Esau will do. Okay, if he get his hands on them. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab it in the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10, and it reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." And this is a very important scripture, all right, because you have our people trying to build a life here, build a career, build a job to where, they trying to take on the highest position. They want to be the CEO of the company. You see, Jake got a whole life planned out here. When the scriptures tell you this is not your rest, everything here has been, tampered with. Okay, everything's not natural here. Most of the things that you expect supposed to be natural is not. All right, and this is why we need the Lord, man. All right, this is what we need to be delivered from the hands of the wicked, man. Our brothers out, we be the elect. Okay, Salakia. It says, Salakia for the music in the background, people driving. But it says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Okay, and that's what it's meant to do, destroy you. All right, and we went into this word sore, all right, at camp. Going into sickness, okay, illness, all right, pain, all right. These all things indicating that, all right, what this devil get his hands on, all right, he destroys. This is what he do. And it's meant to affect those who are counting and depending on, all right, to eat these and consume these things every day. You see, they have no type of temperance in their eating or in their purchasing, man, for lack of better words. You got Jake to be out here 600 pounds, 800 pounds, and still, smacking down all kinds of high cholesterol, heavy induced foods. All right. And this is a constant thing. This is what Jake go and feed on without saying, okay, that's enough. All right, I can't take. I need to go on a diet, or I need to work out, or I need to do these things. You see, and that's what Esau is doing when he's feeding you continuously, giving you to your flesh desires. Giving it constantly to you. That's what he does. He's destroying you. All right, overwhelming you with those things. It says, reading it again, Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. This place is polluted. The food, water, air, everything's polluted. It said, because it's polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. Okay, and that's what we're dealing with today. All right, a constant attack on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American in many different ways. Rather it be food, rather it be what you're drinking, your clothing, the products you use to wash your body. All right, the medicine that you take to try to reduce your inflammation. All right, caused by these things. Okay, that's been jacked up from the foods to the meats, the vegetables, the water. It's all being caused to cause these inflammations within the body, and in particular to attack those of melanin skin. Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American. It says, let's grab this. All right, defiled bread. All right. Scripture goes more into these things. It says Ezekiel 4:13, and the Lord YAHAWASHI said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. And this is what you see constantly when you see all these fast food restaurants on the corners of every 5 to 10 block radius of a ghetto or neighborhood that's known for violence, crime. All right. the projects. Every time you turn around, you see these fast food restaurants. Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, all these things, man. And they make sure they promote it more and more and more in those neighborhoods. All right, you go drive to a Edomite neighborhood, and it take you a little distance before you pull out and go to one of these and see one of these fast food joints, man. You pull out of the neighborhood from Jake, they got a Popeyes, Church's Chicken right next to each other. Then 5 blocks down, they got another one. You see? So Esau has a way of jacking Jake up, and the Lord's gonna, get you doubles for that, man. The Lord's gonna take Esau's ass out for that, for touching the apple of his eye. All right, for plotting and planning on destroying those, all right, that are his, which goes into Psalms 83. Let me see. Psalms 83. And like I said, I ain't gonna make this too long, straight to the point. We'll close it out with one more scripture after this. It says Psalms 83. Is it 83 or is it? So lock it, bear with me. It says Psalms 83. There it is. Psalms 83, verse 2. I started at verse 2. It says, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Right. So they have come, to an agreement, to some type of alliance with each other to come up with this wicked strategized plan, all right, to afflict you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American. All right, and this is why you see drugs and guns and liquor stores and the whole nine within Jake communities the most. Okay, because they're looking at ways to destroy you, to keep you from reconnecting with your power, with YAHAWASHI, to keep you drugged up, to keep you delusional, to keep you discombobulated, the whole nine, to keep you asleep. All right, that's what he's doing, to keep you asleep. He wants you to stay asleep. All right, it says, verse 4 is the point. For they said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the nation of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So that's their inward thoughts. That's their inward desires. That's why you see these protesters standing up and going against Jake more and more. You're seeing these hangings more and more. All right, with this C. Kurt thing going being blown out of proportion, because what? Their inward thoughts is to get rid of you. Their inward thoughts is to dismiss you. Okay? That's what it is, man. Same goes for when they putting these foods out, all right, ultimately to your neighborhoods, your local grocery stores, and etc. These is coming from upstairs. All right? Esau has a perpetual hatred for you Israelites, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American. All right? And if he doeth good, he doeth unwillingly. All right? And then he will show his wickedness. All right? He going to do and act on those things of his inward thoughts and heart. As the scriptures are going into it. As it says, cut them off from being a nation. All right? Let me grab one more, and I'm going to close it out with that. It says, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15, says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Verse 16, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So just being aware and keeping our surroundings pure at sight, because more and more we're going to see that this devil is going to try to pull something out of the woodworks. All right, you always see recalls, you always see some type of food going missing. All right, you always see certain things happening behind closed doors, just the whole nine. So just being aware of what's taking place here, it's going to keep us sharp, man. Likewise, I speak to YAHAWAH. I speak to myself first and foremost. But with that, I'm going to close it out by giving all glory and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Once again, double honor to those in the apostle, great MILLSTONE, teacher one. Till next time, I say shalom.